How you doing, folks? This is Rex from the Buckeyenest again, and I'm back out here at Trotwood-Madison High School. That's in Trotwood, Ohio. You know, I'm trying to help out this young group of people called JROTC, and I've got retired Major Odell here in front of me, and he wants to tell you a little bit about the junior ROTC out here at Trotwood High School and how he's involved in it. So you can take it from here, sir.
Okay, in 1992, the Trotwood Board of Education asked me to come and talk with them about starting a program here. And it was at that time I came, I spoke with the superintendent and the principal of the school, and we began the process to initiate a junior RTC program for Trotwood-Madison High School. And it has grown exponentially ever since. It's been a real labor of love to see this program develop. It's come full circle now that my son is here, and to see him take over a program and grow it into a great program that it will become. But junior RTC to me is the way to go to develop leadership in the United States for young Americans. It's a good citizenship development program, and it inculcates all the precepts, all the principles of leadership.
Leadership is critical nowadays. We're losing our leaders in this country right and left.
Yes, leadership to me is the building block of any organization. Every organization is looking for the best leaders they can find. We help young people to identify their leadership strengths and weaknesses, and we develop their weaknesses into becoming very commendable citizens, willing to give back to their community all that we've given them in the training. Through junior RTC, they're able to not only experience leadership, they're able to demonstrate leadership. We're able to give them the tools they need to become better leaders.
Now, your son, he's in charge of this program. He mentioned something about the purpose of JROTC. You're not here to recruit, are you?
No. Junior RTC is definitely not a recruiting station for any service or any organization. It is primarily designed to improve young people as good American citizens. One of the things that's interesting as we move along, the new interest in the STEM focus, the science, technology, engineering, math concept is fantastic, but it would be nothing without a strong leadership component. And our role here is to marry STEM with leadership so that not only do you get the best and brightest minds, you get the strongest leadership within the STEM community.
That's pretty awesome. When I was looking through the manual that you hand out to the students for study, that's called, what's the name of that manual? The
Cadet Guide?
Yeah, the Cadet Guide. First thing I saw that impressed the most out of me was the Cadet Creed.
Yes.
Then the second thing that I saw was how to develop your leadership through the citizenship program and the different branches of government and things of this nature. I didn't get that in school. Did you get that in school?
No. Many schools have discontinued their civics classes, and junior RTC is a way for them to gain that instruction, because our leadership program is a really strong citizenship program, because that's our mission, help young people become better citizens. In our program, they learn what the three branches of government are. They learn how they become the balancing force for this country, that the country operates on three legs, with the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary branch, each one able to balance the other two. So that through junior RTC, they really get a better understanding of how the branches work, what their goals and objectives are, and who some of the main leaders are today.
Yeah, that seriously impressed me, and even if these students don't go on in life into a military career, the things they're learning here can be used every day in civilian life out there on the streets.
But Dewey, that's what's amazing about junior RTC. I've been doing this for 34 years, working with junior RTC. In those 34 years, I've seen only 10% of the cadets go into the military. But over 30 to 40% of each graduating class will join one of the 4 or 5 branches of the military. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That more students go into the service who are not cadets than who have had the junior RTC experience. And needless to say, the cadets go in with a little bit more savvy because they've been taught well enough to understand what leadership and command structure and command authority is all about. So they're not going to go in there cold. Whereas the other 30%, they're going to go in there grassy green and totally unaware of what they're jumping into. And it's deep water.
Like you and I did back in our days.
Deep water.
Yeah, yeah. I remember my days. I'm sure you can remember yours.
Oh, yes.
I have to tell you, I was out with your son during the lunch thing here, and a young lady approached me, and Sergeant Charlton out there, and she started asking me questions about the Army, and of course I didn't answer any. I told her I can't do that. I said, I'm just here as an observer, but I said, what you need to do is you need to join the JROTC here. And she's a junior, and she said, because she's thinking about going in the Army, and I didn't get her name, but she said that if she has to join the JROTC to get in the Army, she will. And the only thing I did tell her is you don't have to join the JROTC.
Correct.
But if you do, you'll have insight about what you're getting yourself into before you actually go in the Army.
Well, it's even better than that. If they were to join and stay in for 3 years, they can go in with 2 stripes. And that's actually a nice pay jump. When you go with a $2,000-3,000 pay boost on day 1, as opposed to starting off at ground zero with 0 additional funding.
Yeah.
Today is all about how far up the ladder you can go on the first day. Through us, they're able to step ahead 2 ranks, and that's big bucks today.
When I enlisted in '72, the military was offering a $1,500 enlistment bonus for a 3-year contract, and it was you could sign up at 16 and a half, so I did, and then 2 days after my 17th birthday, I was at boot camp Fort Knox, Kentucky, and when I got out of boot camp, they made me an E2 because I did that pre-enlistment for 6 months.
Fantastic.
And then give me that pay raise, $1,500 now.
They're nice.
For all of you that's thinking about joining the military now, that boiled down to $120 a month for me as a student, and that $1,500 was a year's salary for me as a private in the United States Army back then. So I don't know what privates start out at now, but I'm quite sure it's a lot more than $1,500 a year. So.
It's a whole lot more.
Yeah.
But the beauty of junior RTC, I didn't get a chance to realize until 1981, because I joined as part of the Coast Guard Defense Force in Washington, D.C. I was 1954 student at Roosevelt High School. In Washington, every able-bodied male was required to be in the ROTC program. Back then it was a National Defense Cadet Corps program required by the city of Washington for every male to be in junior RTC, which it later became. It changed in 1964 when they began to allow ladies to join the program. Then they had active duty personnel managing the Cadet Corps. Captain Geisen was my instructor, and he guided me through all the steps. And it was because of Captain Richard Geisen that I decided in 1957 I was going to become a junior RTC instructor, no matter when or no matter what it would take. I didn't realize it would take me 20 years and 20 years of active duty to get there, but that was fine because I got to do what I wanted to do.
How many total years did you do, sir?
I did 20 years of active, and I've done 33 years with the junior RTC program.
That's 53 years.
Yes, and it's been fantastic because young people are truly the fountain of youth for me. Working with these young people is a shot in the arm. They keep you going, they keep your heart pumping, they keep you smiling. no matter how bad it may be, they can brighten your day.
Yeah, I've seen that. I experienced that even the short period of times I come over here to do these little videos with you guys and gather information about the March 19th event, which I'll talk about here in a minute, folks. When I look into the smiling eyes of these kids, it brings back memories, and it's inspiring. Especially when I heard that, and you can confirm this, the honor roll in this school, 45% of that honor roll is made up of JROTC students.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
That's pretty awesome.
And the attendance picture for this school is enriched by the regular attendance of the ROTC cadets, because they're generally here every day.
And I've seen some of them moving around out here, and I've also noticed. You got to remember now, I've worked security all my life after the Army. Of course, the Army, they teach you to observe, right? I've seen things around here that's rubbing off from these ROTC cadets on some of these other students, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing when you see that happen. So
many of them are curious. They don't quite know why we do what we do, but they are curious, and some of them want what we do. They just aren't savvy as to how to get it. And it's really simple because it's just another class.
Yeah.
And in fact, taking junior RTC can equate to taking a gym class. And you end up with an academic grade as opposed to half a credit. So you come out ahead academically by taking the junior RTC program here at Trotwood. It's not true everywhere, but it's true here because the principal's been fantastic. Mr. White is fantastic as a principal. He really supports this program.
What you don't know is I did talk to Mr. White earlier today, and Thursday at 1 o'clock I'm going to come back and do an interview with him.
Fabulous.
I thought it was pretty awesome. The way I've seen Mr. White run this school, in my opinion, he's a pretty awesome principal.
He is.
Not only because of what he's doing with the school and interacting with the kids, but the way he interacts with the JROTC program.
Absolutely.
Too. So,
to me, Mr. White is the true commandant of cadets. He is the real boss. He has a hands-on attitude. He calls his own formations. He inspects his own cadet battalion. He's right there with them. He wants them looking sharp all the time. If he sees them in the hallway not properly dressed, he sends them back so we can fix their uniform. But he is a definitely control man for this program. He's a positive force for this junior RTC program here at Trotwood-Madison High School.
That's evidence. That's evidence. And I'll talk more with him about that on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Let's move to the March 19th event. That's what your major project is right now. What's going on March 19th this year?
March 19th for me is a reunion because I also coordinate an organization called the Black Knights of Dayton. The Black Knights of Dayton is an alumni association that came out of Colonel White High School. They've been looking for kinship, someplace that they can use their talent. These are national champion cadets who are now adults. They still know how to march. They march with me. They carry their flags. They are competitive all the way. A few of them are active duty personnel who come back on their own leave to volunteer here for this drill meet on the 19th.
Wow, that's awesome.
We have roughly 21 active Black Knight members of 108 members who will come here on the 19th to be part of the judging team for the 19th. Inclusive in that is Mrs. Sterling Brooks. She will come and present the color guard trophies at the Trotwood competition in honor of her son, Edward Brooks. Each year she comes here, and Edward was a big color guard competitor. He used to win color guards with his team all the time. She wanted to keep that memory alive. So Trotwood-Madison has been willing to allow her to contribute by purchasing the color guard trophies every year and presenting them in her son's name. So she and her son will be back to make that presentation on the 19th. Yeah. So on the 19th you have the reunion of the Black Knights, the presentation of an honorarium in the honor of Sergeant Edward Brooks, which we just completed a street naming for him. And all this comes together on a long day, but certainly worth the time.
I know you'll recall I recorded the Sergeant Book, Edward
Yes.
Brooks Street
Yes.
dedication ceremony, and it's up on the website.
Right.
I'll make a public statement on the Major's video here, as I mentioned in the hallway, and on the Colonel's video and on the Sergeant's video. Any income that the Buckeyenest takes in from any of these videos is going to go to the JROTC program here, because they're trying to raise money for another thing, and they spend a lot of time out at the football games and concessions, don't they, sir?
Yes, they do. It's one of the blessings of this school. Again, with Mr. White's leadership, he's permitted the junior RTC cadre and the cadets to manage some of their concession stands. What they're trying to do is to improve what they do for that. So they're trying to purchase a vehicle that will help them to better serve the public next year. It's going to be kind of a canteen wagon that Sergeant Newsom and his staff will manage, with the cadets doing most of the legwork. But just the idea that the school and the RTC program are so well connected is a real plus. You don't find that every place. After 34 years, this is a real plus to be a part of an organization that really looks at junior RTC in such a favorable way.
Very good, yeah. That's pretty awesome, because your son, who's actually higher in rank than you are.
Oh yes, my boss.
He commented about the flag or the tent getting blown away last year, and all kinds of things like that happening. So you need to get, correct me now, is this like $4,500 raised for?
They estimate $4,500 just for the basic equipment. And with Sergeant Newsom, he's an awesome chef. I know that he's going to make it even better because of his personal skills. You see, he's also an avid auto mechanic. He fixes vintage cars in his spare time. I'll never know when he gets his spare time, but that's what he does. He fixes old cars and brings them up to showroom status. So he's always out displaying cars.
And he can cook a great hot dog.
He can cook a great hot dog, a brat, a hamburger, whatever you want to cook, he's out there. He's a chef.
Now you guys will use this trailer too at other events if you go off campus.
Oh yes,
to other events, and you'll take that with you. So
right, that's just a start point.
And your purpose for the trailer is to get income for other events that you guys do.
Right. Trotwood is a community school with community kids. They're not real rich, so they have to supplement the kids' financial way. They teach the kids about citizenship, and then one of the things they do, they take the kids on a tour. Well, traveling is expensive today, even though gas prices may be down, but traveling is expensive. At the end of school last year, they went on the trip.
Where'd they go?
They went to New York, they went down to Washington, they went through Gettysburg, and they went by way of the Pennsylvania crash site.
Wow.
They did all that in one weekend.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they stayed in hotels each night, and they ended up on the bus on the way back going through Pennsylvania.
Wow. So they stopped at the Pennsylvania crash site on the way back.
Right.
Your son was telling me that they tried to visit the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And that's when it was closed down because some lame brains were doing something stupid.
Yeah.
So
they got a chance to go to the World Trade Center and have a picture of him in front of the World Trade Center. It looks like a hat on the back. But anyhow, to me, the purchase of the trailer is one step that will help them into raising money going into the future. Being an inner city school, they continually will need to raise money. These trips have to happen in September because with all the testing, they want to be able to test on schedule with the rest of the school. They want to take the kids out of school. They were going to travel during the spring this year, but they've pushed that off to September this year, so they won't interfere with the academic flow.
That's pretty awesome because your son, I shouldn't refer to him as your son. I should
No.
refer to him as
Colonel Graves.
Colonel Graves.
Yes.
Stressed academia, and so did Master Sergeant
Oh, yeah.
Nursing.
No, if we're not about academics, we're in the wrong place.
That's what this sign up here is all about. It says mission to
Yes.
motivate young people to be better citizens.
And
That's,
we help them become better citizens by having better grades. If we're not about helping them get to be better students and having stronger academic grades, we can help them go forward into college. And it doesn't have to be a 4-year college, but they will need to go into additional schooling.
so then that's ROTC they can graduate and move into up there, right?
Yes. And they don't have to go into college RTC. Just getting them into college. Just getting them any college is our goal.
Right.
Because, see, while they may not go into the military, we can help them by preparing them better for college.
Right.
Many students don't feel they're properly prepared for college. We try to make sure that they are strongly prepared for college, because college is no joke. College requires their full attention.
I attended some college. That's where, but I attended the college in my early 30s.
Yes.
Okay.
Different now.
Yeah, and that's where I realized, looking at the young people and the need to help them and do different things for
Yes.
them, it was just awesome to me to see a group of young people, especially your groups of young people here that I've seen, to be so committed and want to learn and just enjoy it, and it brings back faith in humanity.
Yes, and one of our goals has to be to help motivate them to want more education. You see, when I went through, this wasn't the same. I went through, my first degree was in engineering at Howard University, and went back 14 years later to get a degree in business administration. Totally different. When I was in 57 to 61, the computer wasn't even thought about. It may have been, but we didn't know about it. When I went back, it was the beginning of the personal computer. The PC was just coming out in college. So I'd learned all that as well as all the new stuff. So it was quite an experience going back to school after 14 years of being out.
Yeah, that personal computer hit the market in 1984.
Yes.
The first one. That's my forte, because that's what I went to college for, is computers.
Well, I got introduced to the PC in 1975.
Yeah, you got it a little earlier,
And,
because there was the mainframes for the United States military back in that day is now obsolete. It's been replaced by
oh yes, 3 times.
much better computers. Yeah,
AS400 replaced the AS36. Has been an evolution of computers.
yeah.
When I first started, we had to put everything on an 88 run card to run through the card reader,
Yeah.
the CRT.
Yeah.
But that all changed. Everything's now so fantastic. These young people, unless they know what COBOL is or Fortran 4 and all that, they have no. Few of them could ever write a basic program.
Yeah. I'll give you one more piece of computer history. You mentioned Fortran. Do you know that you've heard the term computer bug, right?
Yes.
Do you know who coined that phrase?
No.
Fortran did.
Really?
She'd come into work to work on her computer, and it was giving her fits. She opened it up, and she found a cockroach in there, a dead cockroach. And cockroaches are made up of 99% water.
Yes.
And it had shorted out her computer.
Yes.
Hence, she termed computer bug.
That way.
Just stuck.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. Oh yes. And we had to debug all of our programs. It would take us days to run a basic program.
Did you use cans of raid or?
No.
I'm kidding. So. Did you ever make any of those trips that you talked about to Washington, D.C. With the colonel and the kids?
I have to stay on this end. The colonel and Sarge take the kids, and I do what I can back here. I try to just be a supportive player in this whole operation.
Yeah.
They have enough to do to manage the show. They don't need me tagging along. But it's fun watching them develop. I've had my trips. It's now their time.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, you mentioned 1957 a couple of times. you were in the military doing things then in 1957.
Yes.
I was 2 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
See,
2 years old in 1957.
In 1957, we were wearing brown boots.
Yeah.
1958, Sergeant Clarence King, gave me a bottle of black dye and told me, okay, cadet, now go home and dye your shoes black. We had to dye all of our boots black.
Did you have to spit shine them too?
It took a while, but we were expected to be able to spit shine them afterwards, but it took a while to get that.
Yeah.
It would
Back
rub
in that day, we used real spit, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, real spit. So.
In fact, there was even a spit shine solution you could buy, a little teeny squirt bottle.
Yeah, yeah. One more short story. We were out on maneuvers, and I was standing up inside the tank looking out through the loader's hatch, and my platoon sergeant was first sergeant, first class, E7. And I was looking right square at his boots, and his boots were so shiny I could see funny things on my face. All right? I actually, as a dummy, reached over and touched his boots to see if it was all real. And guess what Private Maynard got to do for the next 6 months?
Shine his boots.
Shine those boots, because I made a mess out of them, because we were out in the boondocks in the middle of the summer, and it was quite hot.
Oh yeah, it just melts away.
Especially when you're in those tanks. And you're right, it was just melting all over the place.
Yeah.
Of course, I reached down through there, and there's a big old gob of black.
Swat. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, you learn that you don't shine the leather, you shine the polish.
yeah, and he had me shining his boots for 6 months.
Oh yes. Well, I've shined a lot of boots.
Yeah.
You see, I started as a private and went through OCS in 64. But the one thing I meant to mention that's also important about the drill meet on the 19th is this is a reunion of two drill giants. Sergeant First Class Stan Andrews is the drill sergeant that trained the Black Knights. And he's bringing his team here from Pulaski County, and First Sergeant Brown is bringing his team in from Belfry, Kentucky. Both of these guys were significant in the development of the Black Knight National Drill Team. So it's quite a reunion to have all these forces coming together, because you see, we also have drill sergeants who graduated from the Army Drill Sergeant School who will be coming here who were their students. Now their students will be judging their instructors' teams.
Wow. That's pretty awesome when you think about it.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
So there is a lot of history here.
Tremendous amount of history.
Yeah.
Captain Evan Howard is a 3-time national champion. He'll be there judging the soloists and the duets as a spin master. And on your footage at the Brooks Memorial, you had a video of Captain
I was just going to mention that.
Evan Howard. And his partner, Boyd Atkins, Cadet Colonel Boyd Atkins, he'll be right there with him judging along with Will Hawkins and Major Andre Ballard, who had just retired. He's managing a junior ROTC program in Savannah, Georgia. Can you imagine?
Is he coming?
He's coming too.
By himself or with his team?
No, he's just coming by himself. But that's too much to ask for him to bring his team here.
I can imagine.
But for Andrews to bring his team and for Brown to bring their team is really tremendous. So they'll be coming in, and we'll get a big picture of all the Black Knights and all the Black Knight instructors together with Mrs. Brooks.
And I'll be doing some video and some interviews.
Absolutely right. But you got to meet Miss Brooks. She is really a dedicated lady for this program. She has really been a godsend for this program. She believes in the program, she believes in the kids, she believes in what we are all about. So we try to support her as she's supported us.
Yeah, I recall the dedication ceremony for her son. She seemed pretty intense to me at that time, even though I didn't get a chance to talk to her.
She's intense, absolutely. She is 100% focused on the preservation of junior RTC.
Very good, very good. Well, I guess we'll wrap this up for now, sir. This is not the last time you'll see me.
Great. Look
So,
forward to it.
I'll be back at least a dozen more times between now and March.
Oh, that's fine.
So
That's fine.
until next time, folks, you've been talking to retired Major Odell Graves for the United States Army, and he does all the background work for the ROTC program out here at Trotwood-Madison High School.